folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Now then, today, introduction says it all. I finally completed the Le Mans movie, Steve McQueen Porsche 917K in the Gulf colours. As you could see, as you heard, a little bit of the old Le Mans movie there. Yes, it was actually quite challenging in the end. It's completed in a way that looks absolutely fantastic. Not quite to my satisfaction, if I'm honest. Nothing to do with what I've done. It's actually what Fujimi have done. I must admit, I'm quite pleased with myself. Not boasting or anything, but yeah, I think I did a really nice paint job on it, especially. What's not so good about the kit is that it has a double twist, like a double warp. You've got a warped top body and a warped chassis part, and it's just another example of another ropey kit, I'm afraid. So this is the reason I'm not showing it at all angles, because it doesn't look good at every angle. And the body, top and bottom, are not in fact actually joined, so there we go. But it's completed. I'm going to do a separate video all about it in the next couple of days, so there'll be like a photo montage. I could make it sort of completely whole, but it would involve such work that I think it would do damage to the paintwork, and I don't want to do that because I think the paintwork is everything. So I'm probably not going to win any competitions with it, but to be honest, it's no fault of mine. I would just say to you, don't expect too much from this kit. This is the one. Don't expect too much from it, because it is another one from Fujimi they just don't learn the Tamiya way. You know, I mean, Tamiya's cars and bikes, they go together so precisely, and it's such a pleasure to build. And the trouble is, it's not like aircraft or an armour kit. This is more complicated, and you've got a situation where you kind of need to build it in a sort of unitary, modular way. It works best if you do that, and that's what I did, and that enabled me to get these sub-assemblies all completed and the painting all done. But then you bring it together and find out it doesn't want to go together at all. And it's not like an aircraft where you just force it and then you can paint it after. It doesn't really work like that, and this is the reason I can understand perhaps more now why some people are so reluctant to make these car kits. But don't be reluctant, just watch out, do your research about which ones are good. And frankly, yeah, I think that this is not one of the better kits on the market. You can get around it. Other people have actually messaged me on. I've had several messages from people saying that they built this kit and they've had nightmares with it. So as soon as I read that, I was thinking, oh, this doesn't bode well, because I knew that there was going to be this final assembly, and I already knew. And I think this is the real reason why this took me 2.5 years, is because I kind of knew, because even when I initially cut the body parts off the sprue, you've got this very strange clamshell system, sort of rear and front, which is a really poor joint, and requires all sorts of manipulation to get it right. And the top and bottom is no better. There's a tolerance issue with the components inside, some of the chassis parts, in terms of tolerance within the body of the top body. It's not a great one. Anyway, I'm not going to sit and moan about it. I think I did a nice job in the cabinet, looking like that. I think it looks, alright. See what you think. As I say, I'm not going to show all its evils because it will shatter your illusions. But yes, I'm actually relatively satisfied with that. I'm very, very pleased with I even got the sort of, they're actually decals, that it's the tape, as you saw in the Le Mans movie. They have this tape that they then rip off with like tear-offs over the headlights when they get covered in flies and muck. They just take a tear off, and they're taped on, which is what you've got that slightly strange effect around the headlamps with like a tab at the top, which is just as in the Le Mans movie, of course. So actually, overall, yes, I am very, very pleased with it. I'm not sure I could have done. I'm not sure I could have done better on the construction side without compromising the paint job, and this is the kind of the balance you're trying to strike. So I'm going to put it in my cabinet. I'm going to be very pleased that I've done that. I finally got it done. I saw it through to the end, so yeah, it's fine. All good. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about today, because I'm going to do, as I say, a separate montage of the build on that. Today I want to talk about Telford Scale Model World, which has just been on the 12th and 13th of November 2022. So I'm going to show you a few photographs from the event, which I took myself. And if you'll just bear with me, I'll actually do it as a bit of a montage, and then I'll walk you through it. In fact, we won't do a montage because I think it'll just take more time than we need. So you can just bear with me while I get the screen ready, and we'll zoom you in, and you can have a look-see at this. I'll knock that light off because that's not going to help us remotely. Okay, here we go. Now then, let us do it in a one by one. So basically what we got, obviously, there's so much at Scale Model World to see. I just took pictures of things that were of particular interest to me, but that doesn't mean that there's a lot of kits that were built, models that were built, that I didn't really get to see. There's so many, it's the same old story, but it wasn't as busy this year in terms of traders. There was no Revell and there was no Edouard, so I couldn't tell them off about their decals. Anyway, let's start with this one. So this is the new Qatari Spitfire Mark 1A mid production. Now, let's switch that light off. Now, frankly, yes, there's been a lot of comment about this. I don't think we should pass any judgment on it because it is just a test shot, frankly. And I thought it was a lot nicer than the photos that I'd seen of the test shot. So there must be more than one test shot. So we saw one that had some very iffy riveting on it, but this seemed to be okay. Now Qatari there's a debate about this kit because of these photos that were released that didn't look that brilliant. Also the fact that it's not a very high part count, 152 parts only, and it's a £90 to £100 kit or more, depending on how you bought it. That's another story for another day. Anyway, here we have some close-ups of the interior, which it has to be said, does look very good. The forming of the parts looks absolutely excellent, I've got to say. Nice weight on wheels, you can see the sprue here. Got weight on wheels, we've got a couple of different props. They're going to do a Mark II and a Mark 5A. So they've included the two different types of rotor spinner. You've got the more rounded one on this sprue, and then we'll see in a second. Flashing forward. No, we won't. Okay. Anyway, take my word for it. There's a second, the more Mark 1A style rotor spinner. No flash. Very, very nicely moulded. Very, very clean, sharp looking lines. And a very nice looking kit, to be fair, I thought. You've got the option of canopy open or canopy closed, and of course that means that you've got two different versions of the canopy. Now the controversy I think around the kit is that there's no engine included, and I think that people would have expected, especially around £100, that there would be an engine. So that's a kind of, it's a 32nd scale kit. It's a kind of strange that they didn't do that. I mean, you've got Tamiya at a similar price, and frankly it is a very, very well received kit, very well known kit, great engine in it, not the best detail in terms of ultimate fine detailing on things like wiring and piping, but this has no engine, and that's the one controversy for me. So yeah, we'll see what we think about it. Now we're moving on. Now this is the new Hong Kong model, the Havoc, the Douglas Havoc. Boston Havoc, I should say. And this is in 32nd scale, and it's got some absolutely beautiful details, as you can probably see. Some really, Hong Kong model are getting better and better at this, aren't they? There's some incredible sort of wiring loom detail that's in the side. We've got beautiful cockpit detail here. Everything seems to be included. I think it's even got life rafts. Has it got life rafts built into this? I think it is. Very, very nice kit though. It looks really good. It's got the nice detailed rear turret, full interior detail all the way along. Whether you're going to see it or not is another matter, but you've got great engine detail and cannons in the nose, 50 cals. Looking really good. Yeah, very impressed when I saw this. That's why I took the pictures. Then just a few of the photographs of things that I was impressed by. A lot of Falkland stuff there. In fact, I should have taken more pictures of the Falkland stuff. That was very impressive. In fact, there was an entire diorama, SIG I should say, where they had all the variants of Harriers, and I was very taken with that. Unfortunately, I just didn't have very much battery power in my phone, so I couldn't take everything, unfortunately. This is the new F35A from Tamiya, but it's again incredible detail inside, and the sort of wheelbase, bomb base, I should say. Showing all the wiring and the detail of all the control units and plumbing, absolutely stunning. It's also noteworthy about this, they've actually got this metallic gold tinting to the windscreen, just like the real aircraft, so that's really good. Took a couple of pictures of that, as you can see. Then we've got some Thunderbirds. This is the it's the older Shima kit. The whole range they've been reintroduced now by I think it's coming in through Pocket Bond, and they're bringing in the whole range. The Mole, as you can see. Now this is just eye candy. I thought these were absolutely gorgeous, to be honest. Thunderbird 4, 5 and 3, and Thunderbird 1 and 2, of course, plus the pods for Thunderbird 2. Also coming out new, of course, we've got the new Academy, the A10C in 48 scale, which I was a bit confused by this kit because it looks really good. Most of it looks absolutely phenomenal. Oh, I thought there was a bit more. No, obviously not. I thought I had a sprue shot. The sprues look really phenomenal, but what disappointed me a little bit was that the fan blades didn't look any more realistic than the Hobby Boss one. And I don't see it as an improvement really over the Hobby Boss. It's going to cost probably about £65, I think, thereabouts. So I'm not sure about that. Then we've got Thunderbird 1. You can buy this in its hangar, launch bay, I should say. There was a very nice, there's an Airfix AV8A, the Harrier kit, of course. And that was a really nice one, I thought. Lovely kit, very nicely built model. And now we get to Airfix. Now the Airfix stand was brilliant. This is the new Airfix Spitfire Mark 9C. And here we've got some shots of the interior that's coming. This is unreleased very, very soon. It's due to be released any day, quite literally. And then there's some beautiful finished examples of it they did on the stand there. Took a few shots. Look at the detail on the Hispano Cannon shells, 20mm Cannon, isn't it? And then just a few other pictures I took. Some very nice. I mentioned the Falklands. This is part of one of the Falklands dioramas. HMS Ardent, got HMS Invincible. That's from the Revell kit, which I've got to build yet, the 700 scale kit, coming soon. HMS Hermes, which I thought actually done by the same person, but I don't know why. But he seems to do not criticising it, but he did no weathering on this one, and I thought it looked a bit, I don't know, unfinished somehow. The funnels are not quite right. I don't know if he's got the right. He hasn't got any markings on them. And then he's in the Hermes. He's an absolutely stellar, sort of competition-winning standard job of it. That is just fantastic. So yeah, a little bit inconsistent with some of these. Now this is a very interesting. I'm going to zoom you out for a second. This is a very interesting one, which I was very taken by. I was walking around and I met lots of people. I'll talk about Airfix in a minute, but a lot of you recognise me because I was wearing these clothes deliberately so people would recognise me, and it was really nice to meet a lot of people and subscribers on the channel. But one chap was on the he saw me walking past and he shouted, "You're Peter Oxley, aren't you? The guy that does the Matchbox reviews?" And I said, "Yes, that's me, yeah." And he said, "Come look at these." And what he's done is he has upscaled and updated the Matchbox dioramas, and this, of course, I'll zoom you back in, this is the long range desert group, so he's in 35th scale, and he's used various different kits to achieve some of these things. But look at the diorama, it's a dead copy of the Matchbox one, and they were absolutely brilliant. I was really impressed by these. So that's the long range desert group with the SAS, which he's done really, really nicely. Tornado sort of crept in there. We've got a beautiful Saab Vig, and I saw that was a beautiful paint job, I thought. A beautiful Eurofighter, these are all 32nd scale. Eurofighter with storm shadows at the side. Some Wingnut Wings kits, which are very expensive, £200 for a standard one. £300 for a Hansa Brandenburg, very, very pricey. And then we're back on these Matchbox upscales. Now look at this one. So this is the Humber armoured car. And again, he's copied the exact diorama design of the original Matchbox kit. And I can't remember, is it Tatcom? I can't remember whose manufacturer this one is. It doesn't say, unfortunately. But the Humber, absolutely gorgeous diorama. And he had the original little Matchbox one next to it, which was really funny. You know, I thought this was absolutely fantastic. And he did it again. I've got the Airfix guys here. It's in a strange order. So then I met the Airfix guys. So that's Dale from Airfix. Dale is the head of brand, in fact, now. And of course, just to his left there, that's the gentleman with the glasses. It's Matt Whiting. He's the gentleman who designed the Anson kit and did a damn fine job of it. And I told them so. So yeah, we had a really good chat actually. It was very nice to meet the people from Airfix. I got a lot of insight, which I'll talk about probably more in the future. There's me with Dale again. Yeah, and I got quite a lot of chat from them. That's Luke. He's there. Sorry, zoom out a bit. I've gone into too far for this one. That's Luke. He's the Airfix researcher, does all the research. So of course I seized upon him and said, "Are you the one that researched those tyres on that K2 ambulance?" And he said, "No, Governor, no, it wasn't me. That was before. That was project with somebody before me. No names." I believe you thousands wouldn't. Anyway, that's quite funny. I had a really good chat, and I was asking him about, you know, how they decide on the thought process. You know, and he said it is quite complicated. You know, because they take sort of almost focus groups. I know when they've had these YouTube creator days, or they talk to flooring models and people like that, and generally getting feedback. And I said to him, I said, look, everybody is talking about at the moment the next one that you should consider, from what I'm hearing, and I actually agree with it, is actually the 48th scale Jaguar, Seppicat Jaguar, because you can do a French version, an Oman version, a British version, obviously. There's another customer country that took them, wasn't there? Somewhere in the Far East. Anyway, there are several countries that would, you know, you can market the kit to, and it's quite an iconic aircraft. And of course, Cosford's just up the road, which is where they're all stored. Plenty of research material, absolutely brilliant. And of course, there's the trainer versions of T2. You've got the French version, you've got the British version, lots of different versions they can produce. So for me, it's a no-brainer, and I was trying to tease out of them, like you do, whether they're going to go for that. And he said, yeah, well, you know, okay, we'll consider that. But he wasn't giving anything away, and of course they wouldn't do. And if they're very, very tight-lipped about everything, what's coming next was not revealed, unfortunately. Anyway, just jumping around with these photos. That's the Honey Stewart. Look at this again, another Matchbox throwback diorama, modernised version of it. I thought that was excellent. Look at that. Really, really good. And this is me talking to that's Michael Wittmann, the famous tank commander. I don't think it's actually him, because I think he was killed, sadly, in sadly, maybe not, in 1944. But it's his alter ego, one of my YouTube subscribers. Now this was the final photo I've got, which I think was probably one of the standout and most memorable models there was, and that's I think it's the Hong Kong Dambusters 132 Lancaster, complete with the upkeep mine. You can just see it here dropping. That is absolutely phenomenal, really, as a diorama. I was very impressed with that. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, so that was just a selection of a few photos that I took at Scale Model World. Just trying to get some light on, there we go. Yeah, I took a few photos at Scale Model World. It's not, if I didn't take your model, please don't be insulted. They're just impossible to take them all, and I didn't have much battery, so I only had the ability to take a few, so there we go. But yeah, I had a good chat with Airfix, very interesting talking to them. Matt was talking me through the Avro Anson design, and he was talking about the Anson is a very strange aircraft, and he said that they had some real challenges in moulding it accurately. He said because it's actually what they call aero-ply. The skin isn't fabric, it is plywood, because remember in my review I said I think it's plywood and fabric. Well, it's actually very thin, less than a millimetre thin fabric, almost like a veneer, basically. Sorry, plywood, not fabric. It's plywood, it's like a veneer plywood, and he said depending on temperature, heat and damp, it actually stretches more. So when you saw this stretched effect, he said it's even the ones that they were using as a reference, they were looking at the one at Duxford, that was the reference aircraft. He said, but even that, he said, from day to day, it looks slightly different in the way that the skin, if it's a cold day, basically the skin would be sort of go a bit tighter, and on a warm day it would be a bit slacker. Interesting, very interesting. And he said that the actual thickness of the ply is actually thinner than the actual plastic in the Airfix kit. So that was really interesting talking to him. I met Pramjit as well, talking to him about his Mosquito and his Buccaneer, saying what a great job he'd done on those. And I was trying to make him do what I wanted, which was to make the 48 scale Buccaneer RAF version, the B2, S2B I should say. And he was like grinning, because it's almost like he knows his boss is listening, you know. And they're not allowed to say, of course. And I was saying, please, come on. And he said, yeah. He was explaining the minor changes that there are obviously between the two kits. You know, the Bombay and one or two aerials and strakes and things, and something in the cockpit. No, he didn't tell me. I've forgotten now. Anyway, I think it's probably going to be with us probably this time next year, from what he was saying, but he wouldn't give me a definite date, and he wouldn't give me a definite commitment. He was like a politician. They were all like that, terrible. And I spoke to Luke. That was very interesting, talking to the researcher as well. So really, I spoke to some of the main players, apart from Chris. Of course, Chris is the guy who has designed the new Spitfire, 24 scale Spitfire, and every time he was available to talk to me, I was talking to one of the others, and then when I finished talking to them, he was talking to another member of the public. So unfortunately, Chris and I never got to, he's the young chap with the beard, we never quite got to talk to each other. Speaking of beards, you'll have noticed obviously that I have packed my twin brother back off, sent him packing back off to Natal to sort out the colonial wars and go and fight for Her Majesty Queen Victoria. So he's gone now, and yes, the younger, slicker version of me is back. Anyway, it's a really interesting show. If I'm honest, I thought that the standard models that people displayed was a bit higher than usual, and they're always high, you know, very high, I thought. Now, there were some that we've seen before, yeah. You get the same old models trotted out from certain model clubs and groups, you know. But there was a lot of interesting stuff. I thought the Harrier SIG, the Falklands Harrier SIG, was really good, and I wish I'd taken some photographs of that. There were some beautiful ones. They had Sharky Awards Sea Harriers, and they had all the different versions. They had 004, 006, was it 009, the other one that he flew from Invincible? But anyway, really impressive, and they had some beautiful GR3s as well. And there were two GR3s together, and one had the most sublime weathering on it. It was just beautiful, which I think was from the Kinetic kit, you know. Anyway, there we go. Just quick video today, not a long one. Just to announce that the Porsche is finished, obviously, and to say to you there'll be a little photo montage of that coming up very, very soon. I'll be short, about 10 minutes max, I think. But I will be back soon when I'm going to be doing a review of the biggest, baddest kit of the year. The one you've all been waiting for, I think. So I'll be back very, very soon to do that. I'll keep you in suspense. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that like button. Give us a thumbs up, and thank you very much for coming to watch. And I hope to see you all very soon in the very near future. In the meantime, look after yourselves. Thanks very much, and bye for now.